Okay, so Wim from top left here, and today I'm joined by Dean Sanderson. He's a seasoned MSP operator and who's helped many other MSP leaders grow their business, get through the chaos and growing them from sub-million to a multiple million. And he's working all those different stages, which is exciting. And now he runs 6S Consulting, and he brings that hands-on experience to help MSPs that are stuck or they're scaling or maybe they're spinning their wheels. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or flatlined, listen in. So welcome here, Dean.
Thanks, Wim. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so let's just jump in. You've been in this world for a while. Startup, scale up, mature companies. What patterns have you seen that just keeps MSPs stuck?
The owner's still leading at trying to run and do everything within the business rather than delegating some of those tasks out and just kind of getting stuck in their own way and to use that cliche, working in the business rather than working on the business.
Yeah. So what's that mindset shift they need to make?
Enable others really is what they need to do, and obviously keep that focus on the client experience, but also trust the people that you have working for you can do that work and manage the exceptions. And I think also a big part of Agile and what we're trying to do is reduce what everybody is working on and keep them more focused on fewer tasks at a time. The cost of task switching, as we know, is astronomical.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, what are some of the numbers? Like multitasking, going back to your task, you lose like 20% of your day or something, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how much time it takes to even just a small, quick shift over to answer an email, to shift back to what you were working on, and you have to think, where was I? What was I doing? What was my train of thought at that time? As opposed to if I just finish this and then move on to this email that I had to respond to, you're answering that, you're shifting with a cleaner slate.
Yeah. And when we sort that out, that's compounding. If our leaders figured that out for themselves, that they can be in the focus and in the zone, and their people can do it, it's cascading.
They're not as much as they should be. I think one of the things that can help them is something I mentioned this on LinkedIn last week. It's the daily huddle, just a quick, very focused meeting to kind of get that background of where everybody is, what everybody's working on, and then also share what you're working on as the owner is doing that as well. It helps them realize that laser focus is going to help them as well as the greater team.
Just going through these different sizes of MSPs, like a sub-million is very different than a 3 million, than a 10 million. I've seen that myself. But what are those different priorities for the CEO, the leadership team, how work gets done? What has to change between these different levels?
So I think where you are probably at a sub-million is you're still very much owner-driven, trying to do everything. They're the lead tech. I think they need to focus more on getting those processes written out and delegating some of those tasks to the team that they've hired and kind of extracting themselves as much as they can from service. And if larger than that, hopefully they've got a service manager, someone that can kind of manage service delivery, probably is doing project delivery as well, and they're focusing more on account management and sales because they still feel they're the only ones that can truly sell the business to their prospects. And then 3 to 5 million, they've probably removed themselves from account management, but now they're having process and scale problems where they handed off somebody account management or maybe even sales as well, but they didn't quite have that process fully baked and a clean methodology to take it from prospect to close or from opportunity for an existing customer to closing that deal to an effective and efficient project.
And project profitability is always a topic we talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of companies struggle with it. They're so focused on their juicy recurring revenue that the projects get neglected. So what have you seen there as common, and what changes that? What should they be doing differently?
I think the change is organize the work that needs to be done in a cleaner method. So it's probably just back to reducing how many projects your technicians are working on. Depending on your size, you may still have project technicians also doing service tickets. So you need to make sure that one kind of comes off their plate when there's larger projects so that they're focused more on the project work and delivery, because quite often that's what derails some of those projects is they're working on a project. There's a fire in service that they need to deal with, so they get pulled into that, and you're just reintroducing context switching again.
And so, yeah, what got you into Agile and Lean and Kanban? I know you've been researching and reading on that and implementing that.
It kind of flowed out of actually my last role. So I was director of innovation at F12, and I was responsible for building an in-house app that they provided to their customers. And of course, the software team there was using it to a degree, and so I kind of looked at it and thought, oh, this is great. Like you just move things along, and now you start to see more and more project tools, top left for example, that kind of focus that work on this isn't ready to work on, this is almost ready to work on, this is in progress, and limit what's in progress and what each person can pull through to the next level so that they're not context switching. And then you get to see that progression, and you can actually feel the movement of work through the organization when you do that.
Yep. No, I love the way you've put that. So yeah, what's different about working with you versus traditional consultant coach?
I will roll up my sleeves and get in there and do it. So, you're having troubles with your PSA, I'll get in there and help and take a look at it and help you resolve it and reduce the number of statuses you have so that you can effectively see what you're doing. Or is there integrations that are kind of half built or partially working that you just need help in getting a tune-up to your ConnectWise or your PSA Halo to make it run more efficiently and make it run kind of the way your business is now. Because in a lot of cases, these MSPs will set up their PSA, which I think is probably one of their most important tools, and they'll wipe their hands of it, and 15 years later they're still using it the way they were 15 years ago, and it hasn't evolved with their organization, and they're trying to work around it as opposed to making the system work for themselves, and they're not realizing the ROI they could be getting out of it.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of untapped power in the ConnectWise Autotask.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because you're paying every month for that app and you're not realizing the benefit. And then when you add in something else, you're not going to realize that full potential. So then you start to blame the tools. Yeah. And it's not the tool, it's you've got to make sure that when you implement it, you dedicate that time to it and then nurture it. Like anything else. I would say we would never deploy a server and not patch it. Right? Why would we deploy a system in our environment and not make sure that it continually stays current with how we run the business?
Yep, and that's on the process side. There's a lot there, right? Updating your configurations, workflows, setup tables, and business changes, and we need to make sure our tools and our processes are still supporting us, and people are using it. Yeah. So how do you work with MSPs to make sure they get good value out of top left and adopting Kanban?
So typically what I do is when somebody comes to me through a referral or some other way, I will kind of initiate what I call a virtual coffee. We'll just sit down and have a non-pressured chat with the challenges that they're having in their MSP and kind of gain from that some knowledge of where their pain points might be, and then kind of push into a second conversation where we uncover kind of the deep problems, sit down, preferably in person. It's always difficult sometimes when everybody's so remote, but just kind of getting that in-person conversation kind of releases people more to talk about things, and then kind of proposing how I can help them, either through systems, through operations, or through sometimes it is just plain old consulting and being blunt and honest with what they need to do in order for their business to scale and grow.
Yep. And that's, I work with a number of mentors and coaches. It's just, I want them to be blunt with me and call out my blind spots and my BS. So highly recommend everyone work with somebody like Dean.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, awesome to have you as a partner in the program. I know you've been very engaged on LinkedIn and sharing good thought leadership around Kanban and huddles, so appreciate that. And if anyone wants to reach out to Dean, I guess if you're seeing this video in the email, you see a link there, or on the partner page on our website, there's a link to his email, his calendar, his website. So Dean with Success Consulting. Thank you, Dean.
Awesome. Thanks, Wim. Have a fantastic day.